get a time to actually come out and talk about this interesting topic here within the Morgan State University Alumni Association, and a follow-up to what we've done actually last year as a large association dealing with a myriad of topics that we did last summer, coming into now another year here. So based off of our workshops that we did last year with all of the chapters, one of the three topics that was asked for a follow-on deeper dive was actually talking about IT technology within the chapter. So I was voluntold by some of the leadership within the MSUAA that I was going to be the first one to actually give the intro of one of three sessions for all of the chapters. So I am Ah-Lon Peoples, and I will go through this actual session, and I'll talk about me and talk about what we're going to do as we go along from here. So first, I want to start off talking about, this the rules of engagements while we're going through this particular session here. So while we're going through here, please mute yourself if you're not talking, because it's very hard for individuals to talk as they go along or hear if there's background noise going on. If you want to, please, if you are talking, try to minimize your interruptions in the background, especially like if you have, uh, we have life going on, but we'll try to definitely minimize those extra uh, decline, um, those extra noises in the background. If you have something that you want to say, please at any time, please raise your hand. This is going to be a real open discussion. It's not going to be a one-way conversation. I would rather have it be a two-way conversation because I don't know everything. I just know all the mistakes that I've done, and I'm here to tell you, please don't make the same mistakes that I've done. Don't talk over each other because we want to be mindful and respectful for everybody that we do have. And then from there, if you're getting audio freezing or choppiness with the voice that's coming in or the videos that's happening, that means there's something that's going on at your house. So sometimes you may have to just log off and then log back in. And honestly, I'm the host. Hopefully we don't have an issue in which people are being unruly. So if people start to get unruly, I can and I will kick people out of the actual workshop, and it's based off of my discretion. So please, let's treat everybody with dignity and respect as we go along. So if you're on the your computer, if you're on your computer, I just want to give you a quick orientation to what WebEx is, and how to use the different functionality, and how we're going to go forward from this point on. So this is what your screen should look like if it's dark or it's light. So right here you have your mute button for the most part. That's how you turn your sound on and off. So when it's time for you to talk. Definitely your video, how you mute and unmute yourself. Definitely while we're going through, and we have this is going to be a small number of people that's at this website workshop. So definitely everybody, as we go along, you can unmute your video so we can actually see each other because we're our family here. So let's unmute our video so we can see each other if you can as we go along. Now, for if you want to see who's in the actual video, the workshop itself, you can show the participants here. You can show your different chat boxes. So if you chat with one another, if you know somebody that's in the actual workshop itself, so you could do one-on-one chats or chat with the actual presenter, the co-host, or with everybody writ large. Now, if you want to raise your hand, they've done changes, and this happened across a majority of the web conferencing systems like Zoom, WebEx, Teams. They actually combine those emoji things. So they actually put the raise your hand with the emoji. So you have to do the emoji symbols, and that's where your raise your hand button is. So I just wanted to point that out. So if you do have a question, please, that's where it's located for the most part, to raise your hand. And if while we're going through the actual workshop and we're discussing, and you have a question and you just don't, if you don't want to say it, there's these three buttons that's on the side that's being pointed out right there. You can actually put your questions there, and I'll actually put it in a different location that will allow me to actually see that versus me trying to filter through all of the actual chat and trying to extract the actual questions out from the chat. So it makes it a lot easier. We actually did that during the business meeting a couple of weeks ago, and it made life just a little bit easier for us. So for the most part here, this is the agenda that we're going to have. So it's going to be 4 sections that we have, really getting into the level setting, the approach, looking at continuous services, and what's next. So what I will promise you, what I will promise you with this particular workshop is that I will not geek out and talk crazy IT terms with you. I will talk in something I like to call POE, P-O-E, plain old English. I will tell you what it is in plain English. If I get asked a question, if I get asked a question that is too hard and I feel myself geeking out or giving you a hard question, I will tell you an answer like this. It happens through magic. I would tell you it happens with magic. If I tell you it's magical, that means it's so complex that I'll have to talk to you one-on-one on how it works. But the thing is, I want to keep it at macro level, a macro level to keep everybody engaged, and I truly answer the questions and get after what people are trying to achieve within this particular workshop. Because a year ago, when we did our workshop, for the most part, a lot of questions came up, and I know Wanda, like we love Wanda's dog. Thank you, Wanda. So it was a lot of questions that came up about IT at the association levels, and because it was brought up to us, there was a lot of changes that happened over the last year, which was good for the association, and we love that feedback. So please keep the honesty and the feedback coming. So this is the agenda that we're going to follow, and we're going to go forward. But again, open communications, and you have to talk to me. So we're going to start with section 1. But before we start, we're going to go through with an icebreaker. So I'm not going to sit here and talk the entire time. We're going to go around the horn, and everybody's going to say something. I'm going to say, turn on your cameras. Let's see who's online, and let's talk. So I don't know, who do we have here? Let's start off with Wanda, since her dog wanted to start off and talk to us first. Come on, Wanda.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry about that.
It's
Just
all right.
jumping off another meeting and forgot to put myself on mute. My name is Wanda Smith. I am part of the on-campus alumni chapter, and I hold the position of treasurer. And if those people, if I was on the news.
Yes. That's a good one, Wanda. Yeah, see, that's a good one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would probably have to do with my dogs. They terrorize the neighborhood, so it'd probably be something like that.
Okay,
Um,
yes.
what are you looking? Hmm. I mean, I'm not really sure about that. What am I looking to gain? I saw the invitation and I just jumped on. Like I said, I am the treasurer of the chapter, so I don't have much to do with any of the social media, IT part, any kind of type of those type of communications. So whatever I can take from it, I guess I'm open to it.
All right, thank you, Wanda. So, Latia.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Latia Riddick, and I am with the ROTC Alumni Association, or Tau State Alumni Chapter. I'm the chair membership. If I was on the news, what would it most likely be? Because I'm involved in the community service, they're probably asking me questions about what's going on in my community. What am I looking to gain from this workshop? Just basic knowledge on pretty much how, video conferencing work and it's good information to be able to see how other people view me from the opposite side of the screen.
Thank you. Roz?
Okay, good morning. My name is Rosalind McDavid. I'm with the Detroit chapter, and I'm holding the title of president. If I were featured in the news, which I was on the Diamond Princess, which was the first cruise ship that had to be quarantined for a month. That was back in January 2020. Yeah, 2020. So I was featured in the news for that. And what I'm looking forward to from this workshop is to get any information I can to help Detroit chapter. We used to be so active, and most of the people are much older now. So I'm looking to see how we can get some younger people into the Detroit chapter. I need ways to do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dwayne?
I'm here to listen and learn.
There's other stuff you need to answer, Dwayne, other than what you're trying to do.
No, Dwayne Foster, VP, ROTC chapter. The reason why I'm here is obviously to listen to all the stakeholder concerns, meaning all the chapters, and hopefully be able to apply anything I can do to contribute, bring some resolution.
Thank you. Anthony?
Hello, everyone. I am Anthony McPhail. I'm first vice president of the Howard L. Cornish Metropolitan Baltimore chapter. I'm here to learn as much as I can about advancing the operation of the chapter from a technology basis. And if I was on the news for anything, it would probably be associated with the annual Dr. Martin Luther King Scholarship Breakfast, which I have chaired for the past 33 years.
Thank you, sir. I might say this wrong. Is it Jackie?
It is Jackie. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Good, thank you. I'm Jackie Malloy Jones with the MSU Howard County chapter. The position I hold is treasurer. And if I were featured on the news, I would hope not to be featured on the news. I like to stay in the background. I'm looking to gain from this workshop is to understand what other folks are doing and how we can capitalize on some of the activities that they're participating in that would help our chapter run even better than it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Tidwell? You're muted, sir.
I apologize. I'm just talking away. I'm LaSava Tidwell, the secretary for the MSU on-campus alumni chapter. And if I'm looking to get out of this workshop some tidbits for our chapter to move forward with anything relevant to today's presentation. And if I were featured on the news, it would be for America's Most Wanted, of a robbery of $1 zillion of the world's economy. So stay tuned.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Thank you. Michael?
All right, thank you. My name is Mike Carrington. I'm the Vice President of the Baltimore County Chapter Alumni. I guess on the news, I've been wasn't featured, but I'm part of the Morgan Lacrosse program, the 10 Bears from the 70s. And I was interviewed during the interviewing process and the story. And that was not the main one, but the follow-up by ESPN. Oh, out of the seminar. Trying to get some information, ideas on how to boost our exposure on the internet and maybe getting a better website so we get our information out.
Okay, thank you. Nicole?
Good afternoon, everyone. Nicole Thomas, president of the Alumni Cheerleaders Chapter. If I was featured on the news, it would probably be for something related to fundraising or outreach. We, as cheerleaders, we tend to do a lot within the community. I hope to gain ways to protect our chapter now that we are on this virtual platform. So that's what I hope to gain out of this meeting today. And thank you all for being here today.
Thank you. Peggy?
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Peggy Hughes. I'm with the South Hampton Roads Alumni Chapter. I'm the second vice president. Let's see, if I was featured on the news, it would probably be, doing doing things with my grandkids and just trying to promote good citizenship among our young folks. What I need to get out of this seminar is how to improve our chapter's presence in the IT world. We've got a lot of older members in our chapter who aren't necessarily computer savvy. And, with more and more things happening online, we just need to be able to interact and work in that environment.
Thank you. Cody?
Hello, Cody Cox, president of the Georgia Alumni Chapter. I am, let me see, the featured, saying the fact that I literally write the news every day for the Black News Channel. That would be my feature probably on something I already do. I'm a writer, segment producer, and live stage producer. So I get all of those news features and I've done it in years. What I look forward to gain, we talked about a number of things over the last year or so, and integrating with the website and having chapters have a page and things like that, that I'm looking forward to that coordination, how all that will come together. It's great to see the conversations that we've had actually come to fruition. So I'm looking forward to many other things that are down the road that we've talked about doing technically as well. That's it.
All right, thank you. Paul?
Hi, I'm Paul Haley, Howard County Chapter. I'm the president. And thanks, Ah-Lon, for putting this on for us. Like others, first one. Sorry about that. I had to get a call at that time. If I was featured on the news, what would the reason be? It would most likely be that I have 8 grandchildren under 7 years old. So that's one of the things that you can't plan for. It just happens, and I'm really blessed to be there. What am I looking for to gain? It's what a lot of members of chapters already displayed. Howard County's been around for like 32 years or more, and we have a mature body, and we're trying to transition to attracting younger folks. We just recently went to PayPal and have a website, and it has made a tremendous impact going to Zoom and virtual meetings over COVID. We've made actually more money than we've ever made, but really trying to attract younger people. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Rochelle?
Good afternoon, everyone. Rochelle Savoy, Southern Maryland Alumni Chapter. I'm the vice president. For the news, I may be on it next week. I'm an educator in Prince George's County, and we're actually marching to the school board to discuss current conditions with dealing with post-pandemic, well, not even post-pandemic because we're not post-pandemic, but dealing with current working conditions in public school. What I'm looking to gain from this workshop is just making sure that the Southern Maryland chapter is in alignment with what other chapters are doing. We have a website, we do have Facebook, And I just want to move our chapter, as some of the other members on the call, the meeting have said, our chapter has seasoned members, and we just want to make sure that we are not only attracting younger members, but we're also helping our seasoned members make that transition into technology, as we already have Zoom and things like that. But they pretty much look towards me and as one of the youngest members in the chapter to kind of teach them all things technology. So I just want to make sure that I am abreast to everything so that I can help the chapter continue to transition.
Okay, thank you. Let me see, Maggie.
Hello, everyone. I am Margaret Mukela. I am the president of the Ruminaya chapter in Kenya. So here we are in the evening, there you are during the day. We just got chartered in October. We are very excited about that. If I was featured in the news, most likely it will be about empowerment and partnership in regard to what we are trying to do here in trying to be the ambassadors of Morgan in Kenya. What am I looking to gain from this workshop? I think it's good for me to hear from those alumni chapters that have been in existence, and also it will help in knowing what we need to do as a new chapter. And we have a few young people, but we're still trying to get more members. So with IT, I'm sure we'll be able to reach out to even more members. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Okay, Mike Bell.
Good morning. Good afternoon. As you can see, I'm driving. That's what took me so long to click on. First of all, Ah-Lon, thanks for putting this together. Also, I see I have two of my illustrious classmates that are participating, Saber Tidwell and Anthony McPhail, class of 76. I am a member of the ROTC chapter, as well as I am your second vice president of the Morgan State Alumni Association. If I was on the news, I've been on the news several times. One of the most important times that I was on the news was on CBS News, Eye on America, where I addressed the disparity of officers in the U.S. Army not being African American officers not being promoted at the same rate as their white counterparts. So that was one of the good things I've done on the news. In addition, I've been on the news for Ravens games and that sort of thing. But the reason I'm here is to participate and to monitor, and I look forward to the session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Priscilla.
Good afternoon. My camera will stay off because I am not camera ready, but I am here representing the Hartford County chapter, and I am a very, very new member and the secretary. If I were featured on the news, it would be simply for living my best life as a retiree. And what I'm looking to gain from this workshop is to take very good notes so that I could pass it on to the chapter leadership. I would imagine that one of the things we need to do is grow this chapter because it is very small. Thank you.
Thank you. Vanessa.
Hi, everyone. I am the program manager for the Alumni Relations Office. And if I was on the news, I probably would have a headline saying arrested for harassing alumni chapters. And what I want from this workshop is for everyone to understand and to be a part of the process.
Thank you, Vanessa. Phyllis, are you available, ma'am?
Hi, I'm Phyllis. I don't know, is my video on? Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm in another meeting too, so I'm not camera ready, but y'all see me at my best and my worst, so it don't matter. Now you see me at my ugly. So I'm with the ROTC Alumni Chapter, and I'm the president of the Alumni Association. If I was featured on TV, it would be telling where Tidwell is located at a jazz fest so I could collect the reward money. What I'm looking to gain from this workshop is how we can bring in the younger people and how to retain others and keep them active. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Is there anybody that I missed? Okay, so and my name is Ah-Lon Peoples. So the chapter that I am a part of, I'm a part of Pi Alumni Chapter, Northern Virginia Chapter, and ROTC. I'm actually the president of ROTC, but I also serve as the IT committee chair for the Morgan State Alumni Association. So you're getting the best of both worlds because I am a leader in a chapter, but I also do the IT, so I could speak on both sides of what a leader wants and what the IT person has to do to fulfill those requirements. So I wanted to make sure that we all got a chance to speak and tell each other what was or what is our positions, because as you heard across the board, there's really nobody in here other than potentially Dwayne, who is an IT person by trade in here. So again, that's why it's very important that when we speak, I'm speaking in generic, plain old English about this IT monster that's out here, so you can take this and employ it and integrate it in your chapter. So jumping to this right here, this is something that we touched upon. And again, at any given time, if you have a question, please raise your hand and ask the question. So within the chapter, and we're going to look at this from a leadership perspective, and I want to take it from the leadership side. Our chapters, we have to ensure that we talk about our organizational behavior and or our culture. So again, there's a three-legged stool that makes up our organizational behavior: our people, our processes, and the technologies. So the technology enables the processes which empowers the people. The people makes the organization no matter what. So when we as the leaders look at our chapters, technology is great, but if we don't have the people and we don't have the processes behind what we are trying to achieve, technology means absolutely nothing. Because before technology came on the scene, we was doing something. We was doing processes with the people that we had, even if we was scribbling on a whiteboard, a chalkboard, on a napkin, or on a cave. We did all of that before technology was here. Now technology has made it a little bit easier, a little bit better for us to do is disperse. As you can see, we have one of our fair Morganites in Kenya right now on this call. So it's made it a lot easier for us to connect and share. Now, how do we use that to get us to a point where we find that place of nirvana? So this is the portion that we have as leaders, okay? So for us, and I've been in this situation, on the IT side. Sometimes we hear our leaders say some things like this: the chapter wants a cloud. Cybersecurity needs to be everywhere. I think we need a website. Fix my Twitter book site on LinkedIn. You get all those weird requests, and then you tell some IT dude or dudette or somebody young, and you tell them that. And what do you want them to do? That is really why we're here, to ensure that we are level setting or providing some type of foundational knowledge of, hey, this is some of the things that you should be asking for, and so you can understand a plan of what you're trying to achieve. But yes, but everybody wants a cloud, even though they don't understand what a cloud is. Okay, so again, when we look at IT, when we look at IT, you want to approach it like it's a product. Okay, and again, as from the leadership perspective, we have to look at it as if there is a gap. And I was jotting down some notes as we was going through the actual introductions, and then recruitment of younger alumni was something that was sticking out from the introductions. Also, integration within of integration of IT within the chapter, a bigger footprint in social media. Some of those different things, those gaps, were some of the big duos that was being voiced as you was talking within your introductions. So the question is, okay, now that you identify those gaps or those problems, how do you fix them, and are the steps of doing that? So right here was just the quick depiction of, one, you look at the problem, now you figure out your target audience, now you start asking your questions. Hey, let's get after this, let's get our vision, let's get a strategy, and then let's develop goals of how to move this forward. And this is the same type of strategy that we did last year when it came down to the website, working with Vanessa, working with Miss Brown and the IT team, when the issue and a gap was brought up in various meetings from various chapters, when it was brought up, saying the actual website was antiquated, and oh yeah, the chapters need a place to house their information or their websites. What can we do? So we was forced to define a problem and then come up with various solutions on how we were going to solve that problem and develop goals. And we've actually did that. But we went through these various steps as leaders and as IT people to say this is how we was going to get after this. And that is one of the biggest issues that we have that I've seen as a leader and as an IT person is that we as leaders sometimes just chuck our IT people into a fire and say, you fix the world and good luck. Good luck. So now we're starting to talk about
Hey,
level
Alon.
setting. Yes, go ahead.
Hey, can you go back to that previous slide?
Yes, go ahead.
So relative to your intent, when you're addressing problems from everyone on the line or any chapter in the future, you're looking to close it with resolutions that are cross-cutting, not chapter specific, correct?
Correct. Correct. But there's always going to be a uniqueness for each chapter.
Right.
It's always going to be uniqueness, because there's like just for example, what's when we look at when we look at our chapters, and again, every chapter is different because of the different sizes as defined in the Constitution and bylaws. You have those chapters that are small, that's under 25, but then you have those chapters that are large, above 100 members. So because of that, they needs are just a little bit different. And then also, what also changes the formula is the level of process maturity that those different chapters have with the individuals that are in that chapters that are able to do some of these different requirements. And that is really what changes the game for some chapters. So some cross-cutting requirements is easy for some and not for others.
Tracking here.
Okay. So do we have any questions? And please feel free to ask a question. I don't want to talk the whole time.
I have a question. Will this slideshow be available to us?
Yes. So I sent out an email this morning, like around 11 o'clock, that had the link to the slideshow. Yes, so I could put it in the chat. And let me see.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions right now? Okay, so really quick. So can anybody describe to me what is the difference between the IT capability and the IT function? Anyway, I mean regular English. What do you think the difference is?
I'm gonna try it.
Try
I
it.
think the
Yeah.
IT capability is what the IT can actually do for you and your members. The function is like, what is its purpose? Is it to get information out? Is it to bring awareness? Is it to promote? That's what I'm thinking. So the difference between one is this is how it works and what it does, and the other one's what it's doing for us.
Kind of. So I'll say it like this, and I'm gonna give you an example. And when I keep on building the slides, you'll see it. So think of a store, Amazon. If I had Amazon, Amazon itself, Amazon, do you think Amazon is a capability or a function? Okay, you're
Capability.
muted on me, Nicole. I don't know. I can't relive this week.
She
I'm gonna
said
go with the
capability.
function.
You gonna go with Amazon as a function or a capability?
No, when you answered like that, I'm gonna go with the capability.
No, I didn't hear you. You was muted. So you said it was a function, right?
No, I changed my answer for 200. I'm going with capability.
Oh, okay. All right. So okay. So fine.
It's a
All
trick
right.
answer. It's both.
It's both. Why do
Yeah.
you say it's both, Cody?
Okay. I say it's a capability that provides a function.
That's right.
Okay.
Same thing. Yeah, I
Okay.
watch both.
But what is the functions that it provides?
It provides services that deliver a product to a customer. So
What kind of services? What name a service?
okay, it provides video. It
What
provides
is it called? What is it called? What is it called?
communications.
Huh?
I don't know communications.
Nope. What is it called? A lot of people use it. What is it called?
Wow.
What Prime?
Bam, there it goes. What else do they provide?
Instacart.
Okay, I don't know if it's called Instacart, but yes, let's try that.
Yeah, they provide. What else they do? Gift cards, door-to-door
Provide gift cards.
services, all kind of stuff.
So quick pause, because Ah-Lon is enjoying this too much.
Yes.
Just to highlight, whenever you guys are mentioning the capability, you're giving me its branded name. But whenever you speak of a function, you quickly define its behavior. So the delta between a capability and a function is on the left side, you're telling me its ability, but the function, you're telling me specifically what it will do.
Yeah, that's what we said.
Yeah, okay. So again, just to put the technical piece in there, just like Dwayne said, again, in the IT world, and it's easy to use stores like at Amazon. Okay, it's easy to use Amazon. So we described Amazon of this is the functionality of Amazon. I'm sorry, the capability of Amazon, but the functionality of Prime, which is for video. When you want to stream video, you need Amazon Prime Video for that, for streaming of video. If you want to do cloud services, Amazon Web Services is what you need. But it's all housed under that one umbrella called Amazon. I was about to say Google, but it's Amazon. So you have to understand you you really have to understand what you're looking for, a capability or a function, when it comes down to what you want within your chapters when it comes to IT. Because that is one of the basic requirements in understanding that we have to deal with, because it's like those salespeople that come to your house or used to come to the house and sell you the vacuum cleaner that you don't need. They will sell you something and throw all of these words at you, and then when you leave, you like, I have something I don't want, but it sounded so good I had to take it, but you don't even know why you took it. So that's why we're talking about these capabilities and these functions. That's why when you saw like the last one, like, I need a cloud, but you don't understand what a cloud is and what functionalities cloud can provide. So that's why we brought this up, and it's easier to bring it to a a virtual or a hard function that you deal with every day, like potentially a Amazon, potentially a Google. So do we have any questions about this here? And please don't be shy. And thank you, Nicole, for trying real hard. And thank you, Phyllis, for making up stuff.
Hey, hey, Alon, would it be the capability function? Would it be the same as we talk in sales and marketing terms, as the capability being the feature and whatever function would be the benefit?
No,
Okay.
yeah.
That's can I take that along?
Go ahead.
But that's a good comment to, well, it's about perspective when you look at the sales side, because the sales is about how well it can be adopted and how soon you can see the value add. That's a different lens than this. What Alon is highlighting is, you as chapter leads, when you're communicating your requirements for IT, this is a thinking pattern, right? Is your requirement really around the name that you heard of, or specifically the function it can provide? So when you look at Google, the name, you're seeing in this image right here just 3 of many Google functions, right? You're aware of Docs, Google search, right? Not listed. But when you're forming your Google requirement, it's really hard to determine that. When you're determining your IT requirement, it would be hard for someone like a IT committee chair to ascertain, hey, he just said he wanted Google, but what does that mean?
Gotcha.
Right? It's a different perspective when you're saying my chapter lacks a normalization for emails, right? We're getting emails at Gmail, email at Yahoo, email at Netcom, whatever, right? Great. We can help normalize your email requirement, quote unquote, with a Google function and integrate it into the picture.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So everyone on the call, this slide is just a thinking slide about your decision making around your IT requirements development per se.
Okay, so that means, so if we want the capability of processing payments, then we would need to look for an IT function that would specifically address that.
You're spot on. Spot on.
Yes.
Gotcha. We were looking to send out emails to all the members of the chapter at a rapid pace, then we would look for an IT function to do that.
Correct. And then we might come back to you from an IT lens that says, hey, you're trying to do one-to-many for notifications. Maybe a blog would be of use for you and would go through use cases, or per your, what was the processing payments. We would take that function requirement and say, hey, what do we know as capabilities that can process payments? PayPal, right? Cash App. It just depends on what use case would then satisfy it. So this is just the start of the requirement before we then get into use cases. And then we follow on with Ah-Lon started at the three-legged stool. What process would best enable you to reach your outcome with the right type of IT?
Got you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Great discussion. Dwayne, you got to put your hand down. You're confusing me. Every time I see your hand.
My bad.
All right. So really what we now, following on with Tidwell's questions, he was diving into really now the individual functionalities that are prevalent for the chapters. He was starting to think, okay, hey, let's get into the next level of, hey, those functionalities, what should we be looking for? And this is what section 2 and section 3 is all about. And this was the base of our presentation that we did last year that we only had 20 minutes to do, but it could take more time to talk about this. And this can touch all of the leadership in here, our treasurers, historians, our secretaries, how we could do this, membership chairman. So this is how we get after this. So really, when we look at our chapters, and again, looking at it from a leadership perspective, and looking at it and changing hats and looking at it from a IT perspective, from the leadership side, this is what I required from the IT side for these guys to do for me. I wanted to make sure that I was able to deal with my people and I was able to spit out reports or something to that effect. I had a simple way to do my financial management. I was able to do collaboration, file sharing, event management, polling and sharing, and social media. Those were the major individual functionalities that I was looking for as a leader. That was my requirements, the basic. Now again, once you understand that those basics, then you could take it to the next level, and then with maturity, then you could say, okay, how do I integrate all of those basic functionalities into a single platform? So now I'm going to one place and I'm doing it all at one place. That's where websites come into play. If you're able to integrate all of these functionalities into one place, which makes it even better. But these here are your basic functionalities that you're looking for as a leader. And we'll go through each one. We'll spend time on it, about maybe 3 minutes on each one. But again, if you have questions about it, we could talk about it as we go along. But again, this has helped to start the creative juices in your mind and say that's what that means. So really, next slide. So really, looking at your people management, the question comes into play is, what do you want? What do you want your IT to do? So we all have done it in the past, and all of us of age where we all had that Excel or that type of spreadsheet where we was inputting names on a Word document or some type of document, and we was managing it that way, and it was very painful. And then we started using Excel, then we started using potentially Access. Access, and it was very manual intensive. It was intensive for somebody to do this over and over again. But now we've gotten to the point where you can actually get software to do this for you, where now you can actually have your members go onto a site and put their information on your site and manage their own profile. But again, that's dealing with the maturity and how you're going to integrate that capability within your ecosystem in your IT arena within your chapter. But that is a functionality that you have to develop. And again, this is something that you have to figure out, because we all know, especially the presidents, and I think Vanessa's still online, because Vanessa loves to harass us because we have to provide them with names of all of our financial members of the chapters. So without this, or without something like this, is like every year we're doing this scramble of finding names and providing it to the MSUAA, to the executive board, and the actual alumni relations to validate our chapters. So this is very important to us. So again, how we look at this and the different type of software and IT packages is is very important. So this is the
So,
first left. Go ahead.
yeah, I'll ask a question. So, is there anyone in the chapters attending today that is currently unable to generate reports that can tell you whether or not someone is active or not?
Hi, this is Peggy from the Southampton Rose alumni. Right now, our membership list, if you will, is managed on a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, and we do it. That's basically just where we are. If as folks join, we add them to the sheet and try to keep track of addresses, phone numbers, that type of thing through that sheet. So, we're at the point where we're just moving into trying to work in a collaborative environment. So, rather than doing everything, like you said, through these Excel spreadsheets or access or other individual programs.
Hey, that's good feedback because I know we got different pipelines of information for each chapter. Like for the ROTC, it's a different streamlined process, right? Where the graduates that are coming out, we can kind of follow their careers and maintain, where they are or who they are differently than someone who's, comes to Morgan, graduates and says, hey, oh, by the way, there's an attribute about myself that says I'm from Hampton Roads. That's not readily known information. So basically the spreadsheet that you have is only is as good as its current state, to your point. So I'm just bubbling it up a level along for everyone on the call, right? This is back to that requirements generation piece, of trying to get some insight for your chapters as well as getting info from your chapters to the national level.
Is there any other chapters? How are they doing their people management?
Yeah, Detroit chapter only has information through email, so we do not have a website to keep track of who's active and who's not active.
So when,
Oh, I'm sorry.
so Roz, question. So when you say through email, so you basically they just emailing you and saying that, hey, I'm active, and then you just like basically keep a roster of that email.
That's all we have right now, or contact the alumni office to see who's active and who's inactive.
Okay. All right.
Does active mean your financial?
Correct.
So receipt of a payment is an indicator. Receipt of a payment on a distinct date is the indicator that someone is active.
Correct.
Right. And is that receipt of payment digital, or are they still collecting checks and things of that nature?
Just collecting checks right now. Yes.
Okay.
So
This is Anthony McPhail with the Howard Cornish chapter. Question for you is similar to a lot of our chapters, we have a tremendous problem with attracting young alumni. We've had through our Martin Luther King Scholarship Breakfast, we've awarded almost 900 students over the past 30 years scholarships to help them get through Morgan. We cannot keep contact information on those students to try to find out where they are to get them possibly involved actively in the chapter after they graduate. Are there resources that the national have that we can access to help us build a database to help in that recruitment?
So I'm gonna have to bring that. I'm gonna have to bring that to up to Phyllis and Vanessa. So that's going to be one of those things that we have to work on. So I mean, right now, from us as the IT, we're working just internally on a chapters issues, but the actual dealing with the students and tracking the students and their progression, that's a totally different animal. That's a totally different animal.
So,
Yeah.
when students become seniors and they graduate, it's up to them to give their updated information, and that has been very difficult for us to track, because a lot of students, when they leave with the addresses that they used while they were matriculating at Morgan for the 4 years or however many years. So it's really up to the alum, once they graduate, to reach back to us to update their information. So that's where the difficulty comes in. You know, a lot of people do and a lot of people don't update their information. And we find that out a lot, especially, well, for me, when chartering these 4 chapters that we chartered. A lot of the information was different, or there was no information in our system about those folks who ended up chartering. So I guess that's a way, in a sense, once a chapter charters, we can actually keep up with some of the people, but definitely not the majority of the people that's out there.
Cody, you have a question, sir?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of go back to your original concern of when you were asking a question about keeping track of your financial members, you're speaking of locally, correct?
Yes, locally.
Compared to tracking our national dues paid or financial members. That's where our challenge comes. The reconciliation of some of our members will tell us, you know, I've paid nationally, they may pay us directly locally, but you know, the only way we can track that is to literally send an email to Vanessa and have her just send us the latest list. And so that has been one solution we've made, is to collect dues for both national and local in one payment, and then we send a check to Vanessa and them just to have, and along with the list of names, so they can then update their database. But sometimes in the reconciliation, when I get the list back, you know, it's a process obviously on you all's end, and it may not be on the list just yet. It may take a month or 2 to get there, or by the time, you know, I ask for it. So if there was a way to make some type of, I don't know, reconciliation on the site, or some connectivity of who's paid nationally opposed to who's paid locally, we can have a better consolidated list.
Ah-Lon. Okay, so this is Phyllis, the new financial secretary that works with Todd Beezer, Leslie Hannibal. Based on the bylaws, that's one of his duties. Is he's supposed to be responsible to the chapters, for the chapters to give him that data and that spreadsheet, so that he can then work with Vanessa, so that he knows who's financial in the chapter and at the national level. And then he coordinates with Vanessa. So it's not 50 something chapters contacting Vanessa. Vanessa goes to that one person, Hannibal, and then he goes to Vanessa. So he sent out something, I want to say it went out in October, asking the chapters to send that data to him so he can start to do that crosswalk, so it'll be easier and more time, better time management and more efficient if it's done by him and Vanessa versus trying to work chapter to chapter to chapter.
I understand that, and I appreciate that, Ms. Davis. My concern, though, is if there can be some, those are still manual operations. My concern is there some way that we can reconcile those lists via, you know, a website or some type of online mechanism that we can see that those names have been added, something that we can check. Because obviously, I could send a list today and I get a new member tomorrow. So those lists are constantly being upgraded. So in the interim, or at least something we're working toward, that would be a huge help.
Okay, and so I think that one of the things is that the database that they use belongs to the university. It does not belong to the association. So the alumni relations staff are trained and are paid to go to the training for that. So he won't have access to that database. He'll only have access to Vanessa. So Vanessa is trained and has access to the database. So the only way I know possible based on where I work that can be done is if there's a way to go in the back door, copy that list and send those either monthly or whatever to Leslie in a spreadsheet by exporting it, because he's not going to get access to that database, nor are any other association members going to get access to that database.
Okay. Ah-Lon,
Yeah.
Alon,
Yes.
could you just speak to the Google Drive, the spreadsheets that are located there for each chapter?
Yes.
Would
I
be,
can get
yeah,
to that.
that,
I'll get
yeah.
to that then. I'll get to that at the end when we talk about the .edu stuff.
Okay, well, because that's what they're speaking about now for
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
No problem. So yeah. There's and this is something that we was trying to work for a while, but yeah, we trying to get like separate views for the chapters to look at the database of for membership, but because of the way that the university has to abide by certain IT rules, yeah, we can't see that because that database is tied to university students, and we can't get those views. So unless everybody wants to come up to Baltimore and be an employee for Morgan State University, we're not gonna be able to get that particular view. But there's other things that we're trying to work on the back end, and we'll talk some of that at the tail end of this discussion. But again, for right now, and like that we're talking about with this particular one and looking at your chapters is your management of your people and how you are managing and keeping your list of who you believe is financial at your level. Okay, so at least when you send your list up of who you believe is financial to Hannibal that's talking to Vanessa, you're able to pull something from somewhere that is a consolidated list from your chapters that is relatively right at that time. So that's what we have as of right now. So
Alon,
yes,
this is Jackie. One of the things I think we need to keep in mind is that those of us who are out in the chapters are volunteers. And the more requests we get from national, the more challenging it is for us to balance our workload.
yeah. So I mean, but the thing is, there's requirements that we as chapters have to. Okay, so there's requirements that we as chapters have to do to remain active as chapters. So providing a list of members is one that we have to do every year. We got to submit our 1099 every year. We have to submit our what is it called, the annual report every year, and I think there's one more. I can't remember what the last one is. But those are four things. There's four things that we have to do every year to be considered a chapter and good standings. So this is something that we got to do. Now, what we're talking here is how we can use IT to help streamline those processes to make it easier for us to hand out different information to the people that's looking for it, if that makes sense.
I hear you. It's I'm done.
Okay. All right. So now for dealing with the finances. So again, financial management is always a big thing. But then the chapters, how do you want to receive money? So again, within the chapters itself, we have done. There's a lot of ways we can receive money. Checks. We can still receive checks. But again, when we look at trying to recruit and bring in younger people, we got to get them where we know that they're at and they're mobile. So if you have a way to set up a PayPal, a Cash App, a Zelle account that is linked to your bank account for your chapter, where they can pay their membership dues, and you have in this controlled, this is a good way for you to receive your membership dues from those young people when you're doing your recruiting from them. Because again, like uh Howard said, Paul said when he went to doing PayPal and I think he said Zelle, he realized like a lot of people was paying very quickly because it was so much quicker for them just to hit a button and type in a couple of words in their application and pay their money. So that's one of the tricks about IT. You have to go where they are and where younger associate members or alumni are. They are mobile, so it's easier to get them on these type of applications. And then it's sad to say, some people are saying now PayPal is becoming outdated. So if you're using PayPal, they say that you're starting to get old. I hate to say that. So, but like now they're starting to lean more towards the Zelle and Cash App. So we have to figure out a way to like get that put into our processes where we are able to use those things, whereas where we could do the auditing in the back end for those different requirements that we do as a nonprofit organization. Now, one of the issues that we all run into is with these particular services, these services are not free, even though we are a nonprofit organization. So again, these services are not free. So when you look at them, you have to figure out what do you want to do and how much um, uh, loss are you willing to take. So here's an example for when we set it up within the ROTC chapter, when we went to PayPal. So we decided as a chapter is that when we put our chapter fees, whatever it is, that the chapter takes the hit on a processing fee. So if our chapter fee is our annual fee is $25, we only get 22.50 because of the processing fee. So we lose that as a chapter. However, other chapters that I'm a part of, they tax on the processing fee. So you as a chapter, you have to make that decision on who's going to pay the difference of the processing fee, because these services are not free. So is there anybody out there that's using this that want to talk on some of the different methods or processes that they're using out there?
And just want to talk on PayPal real quick and then some of the other systems. Knowing that all of the chapters are nonprofit, it would be in your best, it'd be the best thing to do is get a memo or something from Morgan State Alumni Association stating that you are a chapter within, and if it's PayPal, you can send it to their management system and they can reduce the fees on your accounts. I'm not sure how it works for other platforms, but that's just something to put out there so that you're not paying the regular standard taxes and fees on the services.
Hey Cody, you put something in the chat about your membership and your what you do with your guys down there in Georgia.
Yeah, it was basically what you were just saying about adding or accommodating those fees that come with those services. Because we use a service called Stripe that's actually connected to our membership database, which is called Join It. So Join It uses Stripe. Stripe is actually more worldwide known than it is here in America. But yeah, they charge per transaction. So the way we accommodated was to, like you just said, we put that fee on the actual new member. And people understand it. They didn't gripe. It was like, it's an extra dollar, it's extra $2 or whatever the case may be. Because what you'll start to notice if you, like your chapter, take on that fee, you get a large amount of members or renewing or get an influx, those fees can get up pretty high. And our budget isn't huge, so we chose to do it this way. Last year, we ate the fees and noticed the numbers creeping up, and this year we decided to turn the fees back to the member. And like I said, no one really complained. It was seamless, and they still, membership is still flowing.
Thank you. Now also now remember, so if you are using this too, like the way if you do set this up, there's also ways that you can use your PayPal, your Zelle for when you're doing like looking for donations. And depending on how you're receiving donations from your membership or from random people, you can use this also. So this is also a good way to actually pull in donations from external resources too. Okay.
The other
So
thing, I'm
oh,
sorry,
go ahead, Cody.
you keep mentioning Zelle. Be mindful, a number of banks do not allow Zelle with business accounts. They allow Zelle with personal accounts, but not with business accounts. Because of course we wanted to do that one first because it goes directly to your account. But nope, not with the two banks we use.
Next slide. So I'll make an adjustment to this actual slide. So next thing we want to talk about is collaboration. So again, how do you want to interact with your folks across the board? So there's ways that we can do this, and we're doing it right now with WebEx, where how you will get after your video conferencing, um, chat, texting, emails, things of that nature. So when you look at your collaboration, you have to figure out what is best for you and how much do you really are willing to use that capability and how much are you willing to pay for that capability. So we all remember back when the pandemic first started, everybody gave out free test runs of all of their stuff. Zoom gave us free unlimited Zooming accounts, and WebEx gave us free stuff. Teams gave us free stuff. And then all of a sudden, at a certain date, everybody stopped being free, and they gave us the 47 minutes, and then everything gets cut off. So they got everybody all liquored up on the free conference calling capabilities, and they stopped. So the question comes into play now that you have your meetings and we're still in the pandemic. How do you deal with that? And now people have gotten used to really starting to attend meetings and doing things virtually. What are you going to do about that? And how do you get after that? So you as a chapter have to figure that out. And again, that is some kind of capability that you have. And again, so if you look at it, like even with my chapter is like we have different capabilities. Like we use group me text to send out quick information. Then we have our Gmail account, which I'm gonna talk about that later. And then we do have a video chat account. So we're doing all of that just because it makes it easier because one worldwide type of chapter, so we're not local. But if everybody is local, you might not need all of that. So what is some of those other capabilities that the other chapters are using? And do you think this is something that is really necessary if we ever go back to normal pre-pandemic conditions?
Yeah, I think one important soundbite, Alon, was just your driver for collaborative requirements for the ROTC was based on what we could do on demand. So if you preface all the functions you guys see here, we wanted to be able to have on-demand chat, on-demand instant messaging, on-demand abilities to share screens, etc. That was our driver in integrating all those tools later. And when we say integrating, it's nothing complex, right? Like literally being able to say that we can send an email, to anyone else's email. It's nothing magical that we're doing. It was just a lot of process involved first, where we kind of talk through our use cases to determine which tools to use afterwards on demand.
Can I bring a question up to the group?
Sure.
So we were deciding whether to stick with Zoom or to go with Google Meet, because of course with Zoom you pay, but Google Meet you do not. Have some chapters noticed that, like for breakout rooms and so forth, one is better than the other? As far as numbers, we are a chapter that's more than 50, but we haven't hit that 100 mark. That's one of my goals. But have you all noticed which one tends to be better?
So, Alon, you want to take that or?
Well, I haven't used the I know with Zoom, depending on that type of account, because I know with the type of account that you paid for with Zoom will determine your type of capability that you have, just like anything that you pay for, because you pay for the type of space that you want. If you pay for like the basic, you basically max out at 250. That's the basic. After that, then you got to start paying for expanded. Like, so this right here, and I could tell you everybody, since your um fees paid for this capability as the MSUAA WebEx. So we basically paid for 1,000 people to be on this at one time without losing any capability per year. So you pay for that as you go. So it all depends. So I don't know what the capability is for the Google meeting one, but I don't know
Yeah.
which one is giving you the latency.
Yeah, just from my perspective, Nicole, Google Meet is cool. I mean, it's Google, so it's going to integrate with like Docs and Drive and Sheets and all that while you're in a session. To my knowledge, it does have some limitations, right? So I don't want to steer you away from it. I just want you to go back to your thinking considerations, right? How many people are you supporting? Typically, how long are the calls, etc. When you think of that, then you get into, I think, major distinctions. Okay, so Google Meet, to my knowledge, you've got limitations of like under 20 people on video at the same time. Not to mention, I believe when it comes to a cost, they might give you an hour. As Alon said, a lot of companies are changing between 45 minutes to 55 minutes to 60. They're trying to stagger it because everyone typically opens a session on the hour, and that causes a lot of latency for all of their servers, right? So I I'm more of a fan of more robust capability for the lesser price, which is why you see us using WebEx a lot. It has nothing to do with me working for Cisco, I promise you. But no, I'm trying to be unbiased here to give you the thinking considerations, right, and not lead you to a capability name. Our point was stressing to you is you're going to think, Nicole, what's an on-demand tool that works for us for the best cost, right? And we are having success with tools.
All right. Any other questions? And Cody said is worth the $14.99 a month, right, Cody? All right. So we're gonna jump down to file sharing. This is very important because as we go and we talked about this actually with I think somebody was saying that they had like for their people management they had an Excel spreadsheet that they was managing. So well, how can we get after a actual place where it's dropped in one location? It's not sitting on that individual's computer, and one
Right.
day that computer dies, and so does that actual document is lost forever. So why don't we put it in a place where multiple people have access to it, and multiple people can update that document, and that's where file sharing and that true collaboration on that document and working together comes into play, which becomes more powerful. Where you get after the Google Drives, the Dropbox, and the OneDrives. That makes it really really good. And again, that centralized location for information management on demand is very important because what we do and changing documents on the fly is very important, especially when you have meetings and most of our people are doing their portions. It's easier just to go to one central location and make those changes. So is anybody using any of these particular capabilities, or they have something else within their chapters that they're using?
I know we've used Google Drive, and the one thing I like about Google Drive is that you can set the permissions on it as far as who can access your files and who can't access your files. As you have members joining the organization or leaving the organization, you would just adjust your permission. So it works for us. I've used Dropbox previously, but right now, majority of everything is on Google Drive.
Yeah, one alibi to Nicole's previous question too. When you look at this comment that he has about file sharing and storage, your decision for your collaboration tools might be driven by what do you want to record as well. Like for this call, we're doing a recording, and for you to archive this recording, that takes a lot of space, right? And being that you get where I'm going, that's driving your decision around which tool you want to use. So with Google Drive, you're getting, 15 plus gigs for free, right? And now you can internally decide, well, how long am I going to keep that video out there for people to reference before you pull it off so that you can manage your free space. So just FYI, that's some, again, those thinking patterns.
Question for you. The Howard Cornish chapter actually is looking at, right now we are using Zoom, and we have had some problems with video and audio quality. And we are actually, the executive board is meeting next week to discuss switching to Google Drive. For meetings that last 2 hours once a month, about how many meetings could you get in the free space that Google Drive provides for you?
Yeah, it really depends, sir, on how much you're sharing during that meeting. If the meeting is just voice, just you talking, that's going to contribute. That's going to contribute to how much data is in that one session. So I mean, it's just really an estimate, sir. But if you're doing 2 hours a month and you have rules on how long you're going to archive that video in your space, I think you're going to have more than enough room. But I just want to be clear. You brought up two different capabilities, right? You mentioned potentially switching from Zoom because of poor quality to a place to store those videos.
Mm-hmm.
That's a storage and a collaborative requirement. So whoever you decide to use next for, broadcasting sessions like this, right? Where we're conferencing in multiple people, you want to make sure, one, it can stream video. It can allow you to share content like we're doing. It can allow you to chat while we're looking at video, which we're doing. It can allow you to see indicators that people are talking or raising their hand, or give you controls to mute people. Like we've all felt that pain. right? So just give yourself time to either speak with someone like Alon or others, in the chapter, gauge their experiences and see from a trending standpoint which one makes sense before making that decision. That's my 2 cents.
Okay.
WebEx.
Yeah.
I have
All
a
right.
question. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Um, just to input some information. In our chapter, we have used Microsoft Access for both membership and transactions. Um, it is challenging for someone who doesn't know Access.
Yep.
And since I do, because I was raised on it, excuse me, it's hard to transition. So as far as people management is concerned, that's one challenge. Other challenges are around fundraising and tracking all that kind of information. Do you have lists of different applications that we might purchase to make this more transmittable to people when I am no longer in this position?
I think you're asking more so a database question. I don't want to step on your toes, Alon, but I'm hearing a general database concern, a database management concern, ma'am.
That is part of it, yes.
Right.
We do have a website, by the way, but the integration of some of the financials wouldn't be there because they
Yeah.
are more fundraising than membership.
Yeah. So yeah, that is a database. So that's a unique question. We'll probably have to talk um offline
Fair to say.
offline about that and see what kind of help develop your requirements and figure that
Right.
one out.
I mean, we could share with you for like 2 minutes. Alon did a good job. He did some AOA. He did some analysis of what was out there as a best of breed, ma'am,
Yes.
From a web platform standpoint. And he found a portal, right? And in that portal, it had inherent tools that would allow us to manage certain aspects of data because we didn't have a resident database expert on our team.
Okay.
So, just an interim suggestion would be to look for web platforms that fit, your database concerns, so that you don't have to off-seat too much to someone on incoming.
Okay, I'll have to talk to our website person because I'm only database.
Gotcha.
Thank
Jack,
you.
what chapter are you in, Jackie?
Howard County.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
we've talked before.
We talked. Yes. Okay. Yes. Got it. Just mute myself. All right. So again, the next thing we want to talk about is event management, which really comes down to, hey, we want to manage the calendar. Important for us with how we do our calendars and projecting out what we're going to do for the next fiscal year and making sure that we're not stepping on each other's toes as chapters, as the national level, ensuring that we are not scheduling a meeting on homecoming as I almost did this year. So how do we do that and how do we make it visible to everybody so it's shared not from an individual's personal calendar but from a organizational calendar or an event manager software. So I know from our chapter, from the ROTC chapter, my our website is our authoritative source for our events managers where we capture all of our different um all of our different events that we're doing, both from the university level, the MSUAA level, and from the chapter level. So we try to make sure that we keep that up to date and we manage from that location. But is there any other type of tool that's being utilized out there from the other chapters that they're using to do this? Am I frozen?
No, I think you're good. I think a different perspective team is, this is an example of what we're doing now. Like the what everyone got a notification for was an event, right? This IT workshop. You got it into your email. It might have popped up on your phone. You might have got a reminder. At the national level, is there something that we could take advantage of at that, at that degree? I'm not sure if it exists or not, where we're leveraging the same tools. You know, thoughts here. Is this an area where we can improve, or are we doing pretty well?
Actually, this again, this is Anthony McPhail with Howard Cornish. The only thing that we have done relative to this would be that since we have been having our monthly meetings on Zoom since the first of the year, we did go in and schedule recurring event monthly, the first Saturday of each month via Zoom. And that information is sent out, and the membership does have a permanent calendar for the entire year, actually through March of next year, as to meeting dates and times. But that's pretty much the only thing we've done in this manner.
So you let the system actually send out the meeting invites versus you personally, correct?
Well, actually, no, we do send it out ourselves. But again, this would be a learning for us. If we could learn how to do that, where the actual system did, would be wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, good point, Alon.
Okay. Anything else? Any other lessons from other chapters?
I just want to add something. We use our website to send out notifications, and it goes directly to the emails as well. But we also go a step further, and we post those notifications on our Facebook page for those members that are active.
All right. So you see, next thing that we want to talk about is polling and surveys. So I know the president, Ms. Davis, she's been beating me up for the last 6 months on this particular topic and this particular functionality. So within the national level and even within the chapters, we've done a lot of surveys, we've done polls, and we've seen this over the years, even with our financial reports, that when we send out the mailings to our alumni, it costs a lot of money for us to get those mailings out there for not a big return on interest when we don't receive the information back on votes and from the postage back from our alumni. So we get a better turnout when we do it electronically. So now the question comes into play is, how do we do that? And how do we get people to go about using this electronically and trusting the system and just knocking it out, but making it so user friendly that it's a quick and easy yes no type of surveying. So we have tried and work this out from our level, where we're trying to get a lot more of these surveys, electronic surveys, and soon potentially at the next national election at the MSUAA level, that a majority of this will be done electronically. When we do our election, it's going to be electronically, and we'll use the capabilities that we have with us. And again, with this particular system, depending on how robust you need it, sometimes free is good, but when you have to pay for it, you get a better product and a better system when you pay for it. But let me just hear the thoughts on when it comes down to polling. Do you trust electronic polling or surveys?
This is Nicole. So far, yes, we use that for many of our leadership positions. And we tried Google Forms too. That was another way. So we just had one individual from our communication committee. They were the ones that created the overall voting questions, and then we used that, and it ended up being anonymous. It didn't, take in people's email information. You can choose that if you want to, but it was quick and fast, and we were able to get the information for positions by the end of the meeting, and it calculated it for us as well.
Okay.
Awesome.
So you like the Google Forms. Okay.
It just
Anybody
keeps
else?
everything together.
Okay. Anybody else?
I just recently used Zoom, the polling on Zoom, but I don't know if that's extensive enough, but that was just to get a feel for how people felt about a particular issue that we were going through. But that worked really quickly. And I mean, on the spot, I was able to return, what the results were.
Yes.
That's
Now,
awesome.
that's awesome right there when you use it on the platform. The only issue with that is that it's only could be utilized while you're on the actual platform. So it's like if we had to do an election, you can't do a Zoom polling on and send that out to anybody. You just can't do that. So, but yes, but on the fly, it does give you the on demand in the middle of a meeting. Like I could do one right now if I really wanted to. Let me see. Anybody else? Well, yes, well, I would give it again, but this is like really important because, as we get to the point in which you look at your chapter elections, this could actually uh save you time and save you money on how you do your elections. I know we did our elections for the first time 100% electronically, and it was good. It went pretty well for the first time. So, and there was a lot of lessons learned also with this, but we worked through it and we got through it. And then last but not least, this part right here, social media. So with the social media part, this is really, really interesting. It's very interesting. So I put this in here because there's a lot of different platforms called social media. And as you can see, there's different things and they cater to different people and what you're trying to do. So as a chapter, the question comes up to you is what do you want to do? What do you want to advertise yourself as? And where do you want to advertise yourself on? So, and who do you want to advertise yourself to? If you're looking to get to the younger alumni, the places that they are at are the Twitters and the Instagram. That's where the younger alumni are at.
Yep.
They are not on Facebook. They're not on Facebook. However, there still are alumni on Facebook. So you have to pick and choose your battles of where you will have to focus your attention of what you want and your desired goal is when it comes down to social media.
Well
So
said, Alon.
so it's a lot of things you can do with social media, but you just got to figure out where you're targeting, and especially if you're looking for a certain say a professional group of alumni or Morgan alumni, then you might be targeting LinkedIn. That's all. If you're looking to actually, for example, I think what was it? Anthony was talking about his videos for his meetings and things like that nature. He can actually set up a YouTube channel and actually make it private where he could upload his YouTube his videos from Zoom to YouTube, where only his members can get to that channel to see those videos, where he doesn't have a space issue anymore. And it's still a form of social media where he's targeting just his folks. So there's a lot of different things that you can do, but you have to understand that each platform has a different time, space, and purpose. And there's a certain life expectancy of those platforms, because some of them will eventually fade out. Like Facebook is becoming meta, so I don't even know what that means, but it's becoming meta over the next couple of months. So if you want to talk about the social media, we could talk about it.
Yeah, just to add before everyone jumps in, Ah-Lon mentioned your intent, right? Meeting people, whether you're trying to target a young group, etc. The other perspective of this for everyone's thinking consideration is the commitment by you, right? Don't get so spun up on the attractive name. I would look at this social media presence as a tactical IT service. In my opinion, set up the presence so that on demand, if you did want to reach out or have a presence on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, you have it established, right? Make sure you have a connection to it, because the other flip side of this coin is, where are you incentivizing people to subscribe to you? Something like Instagram, are you really out there enough to make people want to ping you? Probably not. But if you just want to use it as a platform to provide a notification here or there to raise everyone's awareness, there's your validation as to why you want to have a presence. YouTube. Maybe you're not publishing videos every 2 weeks. That's okay. But if you don't have the YouTube presence, then how are you going to enable exposing a video of an event that was important to you to spread out to everyone else?
Question. This is Anthony McPhail again. Vanessa just sent a chat stating that you could link Facebook and Instagram. Could we get some direction on how to do that? We do currently have a Facebook page as well as our normal chapter website. Is there any possibility that we can get both the Facebook page and the website linked to Instagram?
Yeah, I'll find some information on that, and then we put together some how-tos on linking those.
Just real quick, and I mean, it's real simple to do if you have an Instagram account. They'll just ask to get access to your Facebook page. It does not work the other way around. Instagram to Facebook. So whatever you put on Instagram, it'll post to your Facebook page.
Does that help, sir?
Well, actually, you froze, and I didn't hear exactly what you said on that last portion.
Oh no, I just said it doesn't go the other way around. So you can, if you have an Instagram, it'll post to your Facebook.
Oh, okay. Then we would need to create an Instagram then. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. So if you have a chapter Facebook site that you're trying to integrate with an Instagram chapter site, you can enable that.
Okay.
All right. Are there any more questions or comments in reference to social media? So I see a question in there. Is there a difference between a Facebook page and a Facebook profile? So yes, there is a big difference. So your Facebook profile is you as an entity. So think about it like this. So your Facebook profile is you as an entity. So if you create a Facebook page, so that is basically, say for example, like a store or a organization or something to that perspective. So say if you want to create a Howard County alumni chapter page that is on Facebook, you as an administrator, That's what that means. So it's two different things. You are your profile is the owner of that, but it doesn't represent you, but you are an administrator of that. So there's a big difference of that. Hopefully that answers your question, Latia. Got it.
Yep, thumbs up.
Any other questions in reference to social media? Because I know this was like one of the things that was being discussed when we did the intros initially.
I do. Is it frowned upon to repost or to tag when the university makes particular posts? Like, for example, if we get grant money or, okay.
Go ahead, repost. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for us to as alumni to repost and retag and retweet and whatever.
So it's an interesting point too, though, right? About redundancy. So I don't know if you guys caught it, but we've kind of been planting the terms normalized and standard in today's call. Um, let's say you came up. What's the name of your chapter, Nicole?
The Alumni Cheerleaders Chapter.
All right. So alumni cheerleaders chapters, I have no clue that that's associated to Morgan, right? So naming conventions matter as well. You know, so if someone were to try to find the Morgan State alumni cheerleading social media site, right? You know, where do they get that attribute that you're affiliated to Morgan? I only say it that way because if one person is searching for that presence, are we setting up the IT language around how we profile ourselves in a standard? Are we following a standard? Right. You know, I know I don't want to speak for you, Alon, but you've taken some stabs at normalizing emails, right? Where we're doing email addresses around your role versus your name, right? Like president underscore Morgan State alumni chapter at Gmail, vice president under, you know what I mean? We might want to give that some thought, just in the sake of improvement, that we try to standardize how we describe ourselves and affiliate ourselves to Morgan State chapters. Just food for thought.
You know, we went through that when we were setting up our website, and we looked at a lot of different combinations of names. And for instance, something as simple as using MSU alumni.
Right.
Well, you could get identified as Missouri State, Michigan State, you name it. So
Right.
you have to be very specific.
Yep.
So we're running out of time, and again, I want to make sure that we are. I am respectful of your time here. So again, that was the social media piece, and we really got one more topic that we want to talk about, our section 4. But again, I just want to close out with this. So again, those are all the individual capabilities, functionalities that we have out there that is really, important to leadership within chapters. But again, sometimes when you look at your level of maturity and you can actually get all of those different things or different capabilities, functionalities together, sometimes it's very good that you could wrap that together within a website to make sure all that is integrated, where you go to a single location to access all of that in one place. This is just an example of some of those platforms that already has that available for you. I'm not promoting, I just wanted to make sure I show you that there's stuff out there. This is not the only ones, but I just wanted to give you an idea because that was a question before that was asked of us. Hey, show us some, and why would you show us these? So that's why I wanted to make sure I showed you. Here's some of those things that are out there for websites. But again, we could talk about if you have individual questions about these or websites, we can get after that. So I want to go into section 4 in the last section. And I know we have 10 minutes. So really what's next, and we want to talk about the services that are available to the chapters. And I know we are running out of time. Okay. So talking to the alumni relations office. So we as alumni have the rights and the rights to have a at alumni.morgan.edu email account. So because we get that right, everybody here gets a personal email account. Also, talking to them and working as the IT guy in the team, we've worked it out so now we can develop a chapter at alumni.morgan.edu. What that would do for you is that will also give you a .edu extension in the domain, so you can, when you send out emails and correspondence, one, you have the ability to show whoever you're emailing that you're coming from an official edu and you're showing that you are in a legit organization that is not, say, a Gmail, so you're not a fly by night organization, and you have that uh, edu extension, and it helps you out when you're doing it with that solicitation. And also because it is being managed by the alumni relations, so say for an example, you have to do a transition between leaderships within your chapter, and say if it was a bad transition, God forbid it was a bad transition between administrations, and that individual does not want to relinquish control of that email account, the alumni relations office can actually reset that password for you without losing all of the information that's in there. So they can reset your information and still keep control of you still, as a chapter in the new leadership, can still keep control of that actual email account with that. Now, one of the things that is good with this is the morgan.edu, alumni.morgan.edu is actually powered by the Google. So because it's powered by the Google, you get the Google functionalities that goes with it. So you get the calendar, the Google Meet, the Google Drive, the Google Site, forms and things like that, and even a Google Docs that belongs to it. So you get some of those capabilities that are free that you can work with the through the actual G Suite of functionalities that we was talking about to start you off, and it's centralized, and you can keep that information um relevant to your chapter in one location while you're building whatever capability you want to build out. Say if you are going to build out a website, at least you have that emailing capability that's out there with that edu. So the question comes into play is, how do I request this particular email? What I did was I put in the chat the link for the form. So there's a form in the chat. If you click on that link, go in there and you click on the link, it's going to bring you to a form. Use that link to fill out the form. So recommend, if you don't have your personal one, fill it out to get your personal one, then fill it out to get a chapter one. And and if there's multiple people from the chapters on this call, just do one per chapter, and we'll work it out from there. Don't have multiple people try to get for the same chapter. So all of my ROTC people, don't do one for ROTC. It's already getting done. So just do one person for one chapter, and we'll go forward. We'll go forward from there. And it's going to take about 3 days. And the reason why it's going to take 3 days is not instantaneous, is because it's a manual process, because we have to, we being the alumni relations office has to go in there and make sure that you are really an alumni of the university before they issue your actual email, and they have to create your email and create these things manually. So they have to do some real forensics before they just create it. It's not automatic. So they are the ones that's doing it, and they have a nomenclature that they're using in reference to how they are doing this actual naming of these chapters in these emails. And with that, they also will give you access to the global access list, or the email list of everybody that's in that domain of Morgan, alumni.morgan.edu. So do I have any questions in reference to that?
Ah-Lon, Nicole has, I think she might be one of the first who has the chapter email.
Yes, I know. I saw that. I was mad about that, but she won. She won the race. I saw that. Yeah. Yeah. Congratulations, Nicole, for being the first one. I was pissed at that, but got you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
All right.
Vanessa. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. So Nicole already has that with the cheerleaders. They won. So, yes. So, and also what I did with this presentation is I've actually provided some quick how-to videos on a lot of the different capabilities within the Google Suites on how to use it. Again, sites is one of those things. If you don't have a website, you can actually create something very simple that's forward facing to give you just a simple look and feel for a website where you can actually show people, hey, this is our chapter, until you decide to pay for something or build something out on your own. So again, this is here for you. The new person should change the password. What is, Cody? Can you expound on that question?
No, I was answering Jackie's question about Gmail. What happens when the person's function changes?
Yes. So when the functions change, that either they, they could go in there and change the passwords. If there's a good relationship, they should go in there together and change the password. If it's a bad relationship, they can go in and request that the alumni relations office can go in and change the password.
Now, she was talking about Gmail.
Oh, this is a regular Gmail?
That was Jackie's question. I thought she was asking about Gmail.
Jackie, are you still there?
I am, but I can take it offline.
Okay. Yeah, so again, are you talking about the alumni email or the regular, like, free
The
Gmail?
alumni email.
So if it's dealing with the alumni, you could change the password once you get control of it. But if it's something where it was not a good transition, and you could have the administrators change the password.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I get it. Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
No problem. No problem. So again, that is really the end of the presentation that I have. I mean, I'm still here for any type of questions or any type of conversations. If right now, let me stop sharing. Yep. So if you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to ask. And also in the chat, I provided a quick survey about this session. If you have time, please click on that and do the survey to let me know how terrible I was for this session.
Word.
So yes, please tell me I'm terrible. So please, if you have any questions, like if I missed anything, if I wasn't clear, please let me know. Or please ask a question. I'm here to
Yeah.
help
If
support.
if you can't click the link, highlight it and paste it in your browser, please.
I had a question in reference to the, I guess the email or the Google. Is that limited only for officers? Is there a limit to how many emails we can use?
So you can get, so with the alumni email, every alumni is authorized their own personal email. So, like for an example, like I have one for alon.peoples02@alumni.morgan.edu. Everybody's authorized one of those. For the chapter, it's only going to be issued one. So we're not doing additional ones for the positions. Like we're not doing ones for like the president of ROTC at alumni. We're not doing that. We're just doing top layer chapter at alumni.morgan.edu, and that's it.
So it's one email that's available to the chapter.
Yes, one email that's available to the chapter.
And those that are available to each individual, is that tied to them being financial as well?
It should be, but
No,
it should
it's
be.
it's
Go ahead,
actually
Vanessa.
I'm sorry. It's actually if you're a Morgan graduate, you are entitled to an alumni email.
Thank you,
So it
Vanessa.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
So if you can find them, they can apply. They get to use that link too and apply for it.
I'm seeing over almost 3,000 members in LinkedIn that are associated to Morgan State. So earlier, someone said they were having trouble trying to keep up with their local database of who's active or not. LinkedIn might be a good source to try to find people.
Well, I did want to make a comment that something I heard earlier about keeping up with people who were awarded scholarships. And I'm not sure if we do it differently, but we personally give them to people from Howard County, but we have their cell phone numbers, which doesn't change, which gives us access. I don't know if some chapters are donating money to Morgan and Morgan is awarding the recipients, but we also have them get involved while because we give it to them as they're continuing education students as well. And so they're active in some of the events that we have. So we kind of like develop a relationship with them. And we've had a few come back, but just like you, we have a problem holding them, but we do have their information to access them. Just a thought.
Just if you're looking at a way of recruiting and getting new members, one of the things we do in ROTC alumni, all of the cadets that graduate and commission, we actually bring them in and give them their first year free. So that may be something that you may be interested in. That's an incentive to grow your organization. Just putting it out there.
Question, I'm also open to any processes that you've found successful in transitioning mature group to technology base, mainly getting them to go to the website and develop a profile, because many are not comfortable sharing their information.
You're on mute, Alon.
So what we did was we actually, the best way to do that is to find a champion within the group. That's the best way to do it. If you have like that spokesperson that is the leader and like the unspoken leader, and you can convince that one person to do it, and you get them to do it, then they could get the rest of the herd to do it. That's what we had to do to get individuals to do that. So that's how we got people over the hump.
Yep. And target your biggest pain point that no one can argue with. Right? Like target that biggest pain point. We what did we hear, Alon? Snail mail and budget were big. I mean, we were still dealing with carbon copy checks, right? Like I believe at one of my first meetings, someone pulled out a folder and they were showing a record, right, of like pencil marks of who paid or who didn't. And we thought it was low hanging fruit, to mention PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, right? And once we got past the whole, oh, I'm not familiar with these things, to Alon's point, we spoke to a decision maker that could buy in, and we were off to the races.
Hopefully that helps. Any other questions? Carol, you was quiet today. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
She putting food in a crock pot right now.
Okay, it is Saturday. Michael, sir, you have any questions, sir?
Here we go. Very, very informative. Gave me some insight on what we need to do and what directions we need to ask ourselves first for. We haven't built our website yet, but now I have a little bit of direction. So this has been very helpful for me.
Okay, thank you very much. And definitely the presentation that we did send out the link, I'll send out the chat with the so you can get to my drive and pull the presentation down. And also the slides that you didn't see, there was actually some backup slides that actually show like how you can start setting goals and formulating a plan and going through all of those different steps of how to get to the point of targeting what you want to do later on in the presentation. So that does help. So it's there for you as a planning tool. Okay. Maggie, how you doing there, ma'am?
I'm doing good.
Was this helpful? I know it was late at night over there. Was it helpful? Did you fall asleep on us?
Not yet. It was very helpful. Since we are the new babies in the block.
Okay, yeah. No, it's between you and the cheerleader, so it's okay. The Kappas didn't want to come play with us today, so it's okay. Wanda, do you have any questions, ma'am?
No, I do not. I thought it was very informative. I did learn a lot of information, and like probably about 90 minutes in, I recognized like who was presenting. So this was very good.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
She's like,
Vanessa, Vanessa, did I mess up, ma'am?
You, as usual, you did a wonderful job.
Okay.
You see, I have not put my camera on because I'm laying back, chilling, waiting for tonight's.
Got it. Got it. No problem. I didn't do my hair neither. Madam President, any closing comments, ma'am?
I just sent my stuff in chat. You guys did an excellent job as always. And thank you to the team for all the great planning and coordination and listening to the chapters during the chapter training, because there were 3 items that they selected that they wanted more information, which dealt with the budgeting and finance and doing the tax reporting, as well as IT and parliamentarian procedures. So hopefully us doing these things specifically will help the chapters to operate better and functioning, and will also help us as the overall alumni association. And for the chapters that could not attend or could not send people, hopefully we can post a recording and they can benefit from that and the slides. And if they have any questions, then they can use the Morgan what is it? Morgan.
Alumni.morgan.edu.
There you go. They can use that and send any questions that you guys, if they have a unique situation, then you can contact them and work with them. And hopefully the chapters will start to mimic some of the things that we're doing at the association level so that they'll have direct people to contact and to work with so we can start to filter down as well as what they need comes up and we can meet everyone's needs and we can be a cohesive team. So great job, guys. And kudos to all the chapters that came and participated because we know you have better things to do on Saturday. And to all the veterans, thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and thank you for the freedoms that we experience and we hold dear.
Thank you very much. So again, thank you for helping out and then participating and giving feedbacks. We'll reach back out for I got the questions that I have, or we'll reach back out to those that had individual questions that had that need one-on-one discussions, and we'll see you probably this summer because I think we're supposed to have a follow-on meeting this summer. So hey, can't wait to see some of you guys at the next President's Happy Hour. That's going to be interesting. So fill out again to the individuals here. Please fill out that request form. If you fill that out, we'll work on your stuff immediately, and then all the other chapters that missed it, they'll get their stuff later. Have a great day. Thank you.
Oh, and before you guys go, in January, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Vanessa and Alon, on the 29th, we have the parliamentarian workshop standalone. And then in April, we have the budget and finance and the tax preparation. And also, we're going to try to get someone from IRS that can address if you lost your EIN for when you have a function and you want to tell your patrons it's a tax write-off. If you lost that, it is a grueling process to get it back. So you want to be sure that you don't lose that for that particular reason.
Yes, it is the 29th of January is the parliamentarian event, and I believe it starts at 10 a.m. It's a Saturday. So it's the 29th of January.